From her small office in Main Street, Visalia, she runs the fundraising and administrative side of the Tulare County Symphony. Francie Levy admits she works 7 days a week, but not just for the symphony, but also as minister for the Anglican Church in Coalinga. She became executive director when most people would be thinking about retirement. The symphony was also in debt and without a musical director. The past 7 years, she's held her post. The symphony has never been stronger financially and artistically, and now she's ready to hand off the responsibilities to a new director this month. But before she leaves for wine country, we chat with her about her work, her advice to her successor, her advice to young people, and her plans for the next chapter of life.
Had let the previous executive director go, and they did not have a new one. Florence was trying to be the president of the board, handle the responsibilities of this job, and teach full-time. She was a music educator in Tulare. So she was going crazy.
Sure.
And we had a conversation. I said, well, you know, I would be interested in that job because I knew I was going to get a church assigned to me, and trying to be a pastor of a church and traveling all over the country was just insane. But I needed to work because the church was going to be just a little small mission church, which it is in Coalinga. So anyway, I said I would be interested. So she evidently went to the executive committee and said, either you hire her or I'm quitting. Interview me. I had an interview with Florence and the vice president of the board, Phil Burdett, and I think Roger Hall. There were 4 people who interviewed me, and you know, they knew I loved and cared about the symphony because I've been on the board all these years. I hadn't really been an executive director, but I'm a quick study, and I figured I could learn what I had to learn and figure out. And I knew a lot of people in the community, which is helpful for fundraising. So they gave me the job, and I started in January of '08, and have had it ever since, and have loved it. And when I started out, it was the end of David Andre's tenure as our music director, and we were going into a huge search for a new music director, and we were about $50,000 to $80,000 in the red
at that time.
At that time, but people came through, and we got out of the red, and we took a whole season and did the search process, and we hired a consultant who does that sort of thing in symphony world. And he kept telling us, because we were so worried and nervous, he said, don't worry, the cream will rise to the top. He said that so many times. And I have to say the cream did rise to the top, and we got Bruce Kiesling, and the rest is glorious and positive history. And you know, we've had first-time symphony goers call the office. Both Louise and I have spoken to people. Well, what do you wear to the symphony? And you know, maybe they're envisioning the New York, you know, Metropolitan Opera, or the L.A. Phil, where people get dressed up to the nines and are wearing fur coats and tuxedos. And I always say to people, well, first of all, this is Tulare County. And then I say, so really anything goes. If you like to dress up, fine, dress up. If you don't, come in whatever you're comfortable in. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to judge what you're wearing when you come to the Fox. And no one does. We have people in blue jeans and we have people in long dresses. And they're all welcome and fine, and we try and make them feel welcome. You know, it's about the music. It's not a social scene. You don't have to compete on how many jewels you hang from your neck, or you know what kind of jacket you put on. It's about the music. Just come enjoy the music. I think that life is about options and opportunities. And the more you prepare yourself to take advantages of whatever opportunities happen to cross your path, whatever options come your way that you could choose, the better you are. So how do you prepare to have lots of options in this life? Education. And I was a school teacher, I have to say that. I taught school for about 15, 17 years, something like that. And always told students that you know, you might not love everything while you're doing it. School can be hard work. School can be boring. School can take time away from other things that you might love to do. But getting yourself a good education will enable you to have lots of choices as you go through life. And now, it's not like when my grandfather worked for PG&E and got the watch after 50 years. They did give him a gold watch, and I actually have it. Nobody works for the same company for 50 years anymore. I mean, almost nobody. The world is very different. People change careers every 5-10 years. It's quite common. So how can you be ready to jump on board the next wave when it comes and have your surfboard ready to go, so to speak? The way is by being educated, having a good, well-rounded education that will. Maybe some of it is growing up in San Francisco, and my father was in the jewelry business.
Okay.
So I went through a period of maybe 10 years where I wore no jewelry. I was rebelling, you know. Oh, I don't like jewelry.
I don't like that.
Now I'm a person who loves jewelry, and I have lots of jewelry, so I always have fun jewelry on that sometimes people notice. From my mother, I inherited a love of scarves. So I have a collection way too big. I'm always trying to donate it and give it away. And I just gave a bunch of scarves to the Karen's House, the battered women's shelter, because they're trying to collect clothes so they can go on job interviews. And I had a pile of beautiful scarves that I gave, because I have way too many, because I always buy them. I love to throw a scarf on something. It just adds a certain flair.
Yeah.
And I love crazy shoes. So I have way more shoes than I need. You can see I got these velvet loafers because they match the blue in the scarf. Now,
Very
who
nice.
matches shoes with
Very
their
nice.
scarf? I'm kind of a nutcase that way, I guess. So I think style should just be something that makes you smile and makes you happy. Bright colors, fun things.
Yeah.
Be happy.
Oh, and yeah.
You make other people happy because you
Sure.
smile at them, and
Sure.
and then they're happy, and
Yeah.
you know, we all do better.
Yeah. I know. I was.
Well, my faith is really important to me. We haven't talked about that, but my other job, I am a pastor in the Anglican Church of North America, and I'm the vicar of St. Philip in Coalinga, and I'm keeping that job. So my faith is number one important to me. Family and friends, good people, lots of people in my life. I mean, I have a wonderful husband. We have 4 fabulous kids. We have 4 fabulous grandkids, and hopefully maybe 1 or 2 more coming. We'll see. And then dear friends. As a woman, I have wonderful women friends, which have just sustained me in my life. And so the thing I'm going to be looking for when I move over to Paso is to make some new women friends and some new couple friends that Larry and I can do things with, because that's what makes life wonderful and interesting. So my faith, friends and family, good coffee in the morning, a good glass of wine at night. Those are 2 things I love.
Yeah.
And yes, always learning something. Try and learn something new every day. One thing new. And of course, listening to public radio, I learn lots of things every day. But learn how to do something new every day. You know, I love to try new recipes. I learned to make jams and jellies when I moved into my house and we had fruit trees. I suddenly decided I needed to do that. I know it was a Depression era thing when people were able to feed themselves, but it was a fun thing for me to learn to do it. And I belong to a cooking group, so we're always trying new recipes together and producing these great meals. And so, I don't know, I guess those are the essentials.
Great. Well,
And fun shoes.
Thank you for. This is true.